Let's talk about evolution. Evolution is all about how traits like color, size, or behaviors change in living things over generations. These traits get passed down from parents to kids through genes. It's pretty fascinating, right? Now, there are a few ways that evolution can happen, but the main one is called natural selection. You could also say that natural selection is the driving force of evolution. It's basically where some traits are more advantageous than others. So organisms with those traits are more likely to survive and pass those traits on to their offspring. Over time, this can lead to the entire species changing. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a bunch of moths that are all slightly different colors. Some are light gray, some are dark gray, and some are black. Now imagine that the trees where these moths live start to get covered in soot and the light. Colored moths are better camouflaged against the dark trees. This means that they're less likely to be eaten by birds, and they're more likely to survive and reproduce. Over time, the frequency of the genes that make the light-colored moths will increase in the population. And after many generations, most of the moths will be light-colored. That's an example of natural selection in action. But natural selection isn't the only thing that can cause evolution. There's also mutation, genetic drift, gene flow, and sexual selection. A mutation is a change in the DNA sequence that can sometimes give an organism a new trait. Like maybe a mutation makes a beetle shell a different color or a giraffe neck longer. Mutations are random, but only a few mutations are actually beneficial. The rest are neutral or harmful. Genetic drift is also random, but it affects the frequency of traits in a population by chance rather than by the selection of traits. An example of genetic drift is the bottleneck effect, which can happen when a population is reduced in size due to a natural disaster, say a volcanic eruption or a flood. If the population is small, it's easier for random events to change the frequency of traits in the next generation. Gene flow is when genetic material moves between populations. Like if a beetle travels and mates elsewhere, it brings in new genes. And lastly, sexual selection is when certain traits make an organism more attractive to mates. Peacocks are a classic example. Their huge, elaborate tail feathers are a sign of good health and strong genes, so females are more likely to choose them as mates. Over time, this can lead to the evolution of more and more elaborate tails. If you want to know more about how scientists study evolution, like and subscribe to stay tuned for more videos.